Blue, the inside, go. We competing today.
Go. There you go.
We're moving.
This is Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh, presented by FanDuel.
Welcome to another Sunday at Jets football. Coming up, we'll sit down with head coach Robert Saleh and hear from Brian Baldinger and Ethan Greenberg. But we start, as always, with Bart Scott and LeJay Douzable. Bart, Zach Wilson's going to be facing the New Orleans Saints today, but is he coming off his best performance of his pro career?
He's definitely coming off the best performance of his pro career, and he's going to need to top that one if he wants to have success against this great defense. Their defense that's multiple. They get after it. They're blitzing. They're attacking. You're going to have to know where your one-on-one coverage is and be able to make your playmakers make plays on the outside. And everybody has to understand their side assignments. You can't end up short. You got to be able to have your break off, your hot routes and things of that sort. Maybe even considering releasing your running backs, instead of leaving them in and trying to ask them to absorb some of those blitzes from Demario Davis or Kawhi Alexander. Just send them out and put them in space and make them cover as well. Don't make it a physical contest.
Matt Becker is way ahead of schedule. He's already breaking down the game. What did you see from Zach against the Eagles? As far as his decisiveness, his feet, and what he saw with his eyes.
Yeah, you said it all right there, EA. He was decisive, and every time he's been decisive, he's played well. He knew where to go with the football, and he threw an accurate pass. And the thing that I really wanted him to clean up from last week versus the Texans was his footwork. His footwork looked tremendously better. He just looked more comfortable in the pocket. Last week, he kind of gimped around a little bit. You could tell he wasn't 100% confident in the knee. But this week, as soon as he took that drop step, and that back foot hit, he let that football go. So he's definitely coming off his best game as far as knowing where to go with the football and being very decisive.
Bart, isn't this what the final stretch is all about? You want to see progress from Wilson here as you enter the offseason.
Yeah, absolutely, and the degree of difficulty and the type of defense that he's going to face is going to force him to use some of his other skill sets, right? Pre-snap awareness, understanding where the safety is rotating, being able to distribute the football. And I would like to see him change the pace, right? You can't just get up there and go through the same methodical rhythm, and because they'll start to jump your snap count. And also they'll start stemming late to mess you up and mess up your protections. So I need him to get up to the line of scrimmage, muddle huddle. I need him to change the tempo, change the pace, slow it down, speed it up. Catch their personnel out there. Those are all the little small things, how you go from good to great. If you look at some of the best in the game, they change the tempo, get that personnel stuck on the field and continue to move the chains, because if you get a first down, the pass rush gets less and less the more you get deeper into that drive.
How tough of a blow is it going to be for the offense? No Corey Davis.
Yeah, it's tough, but a guy that we've been talking about all season long will probably get his best chance to really show what he can do, Denzel Mims, this last 5 games of the season. We thought he would get a little bit more playing time this past week, but then Corey Davis came back from the groin injury. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him step up with Elijah Moore on the outside. Now, Elijah Moore has taken off the last 5 weeks of the season, so he's probably going to get the number 1 quarter or maybe some bracket work. So this will be a good opportunity to really see what Denzel Mims brings to the table.
Coming up after the break, we'll sit down with Jets head coach Robert Saleh.
Now it's time to go inside the walls, brought to you by FanDuel.
Why was Zach Wilson's performance last week his best game by far?
He, when you look at his footwork, his eye placement, his decision-making, how decisive he was getting the ball out of his hands and to his number 1, 2, and 3 targets as it pertains to progression, I thought it was as clean as it's been since he's been here. And he had a fantastic first half. Obviously, the second half got away from us a little bit with regards to timing and just so few plays in the third quarter. But a really big step for him, and now we get a chance to go play New Orleans, who's a fantastic defense in its own right, and it's going to be even a greater challenge for him.
What does it say about him that the ball was coming out quicker, but the yards per attempt were up there still?
Yeah, you know what? Part of the things that we were talking about with Zach is to not overanalyze what he sees. Just work within the offense and rip the ball when you feel space. And so what it tells us is he wasn't overanalyzing. He was going through his progression. He was ripping the ball. He was confident. He knew exactly what he needed to do. And when you do that, you can still be aggressive. You can still push the ball where it needs to go. And so in that, in that first half, just a really good job being very disciplined with his eyes, being decisive with his feet, and just letting the ball rip and using his God-given ability to deliver the football in a timely manner.
How encouraged were you by that start last week? 3 touchdowns on 3 possessions.
No, it was awesome. Shows what this offense is capable of and the direction that it's going. It's gotten better every single week. It's really got a chance to be pretty special here soon with time and more experience. Obviously, a pretty young group, but our offensive line's gotten a lot better. Our run game's gotten a lot better. The receivers have become more precise in their route running. Zach, obviously, being much more efficient and more decisive. It's going to be fun to watch this group grow. It's fun to watch LaFleur and his staff grow as a play caller and as a bunch of coaches. And it's we haven't even scratched the surface of what we're capable yet. And it's going to be fun to see the final product in time.
We know you're trying to find the answers at kicker, but what can you say about the play of Braxton Berrios in your return game and your coverage units?
It's pretty cool. During the course of the week, when you're presenting special teams and we get up there as coaches and we talk about what we think is going to happen. And one of the things that Brant was adamant about was that there was an explosive to be had in the kick return game, and went over in great detail our kick return scheme and how we were going to use what they did against them and create space, and all Braxton had to do was hit it. And to Braxton's credit, he got the ball, he hit it and found the crease, and he got vertical and he showed off his speed. He's been great for us all year in the return game. Does a great job picking and choosing his battles, and when he does choose his battles, he does a great job getting production. So couldn't be happier with him and the way he's played this year and the way he's been able to do basically anything we've asked him to do. He's an unbelievable pro.
I don't want to get ahead of myself here, Coach. 5 games left, but do you tell guys the importance of being part of the foundation, no matter what the locker room looks like next year? This is the first year where you're laying the groundwork. It partly is. You're always trying to do that. The NFL's a proving ground, and every single week you've got to prove yourself to not only your teammates, but 31 other teams with all your peers. So you're always trying to lay a foundation and a standard and what you're trying to make this thing look like, and you're trying to establish your schemes, you're trying to establish your identities, you're trying to establish a culture. There's a lot of different things that are going on in this building right now, and you'd love to do it with a heck of a lot more wins, and we'd love to finish this thing strong and win all 5 of these if we can. But at the same time, the focus is on the individual players and getting them to play their absolute best and to put their best stuff on tape, and as units and position groups and as a team to play and identify what our style of play is going to be. And that's always going to be our effort, our technique, and our violence, and to continually put that on tape and let teams know that when they do play us, it's going to be a very, very long day. And the result, while we trust that it's going to take care of itself, at the end of the day, they're going to feel us. You got the Saints Sunday. Can you talk about your respect for Sean Payton and why has he been so successful in this league?
Sean is obviously he's one of the better play callers this league's ever had, and like every great coach, you could always say there's a great quarterback with him, right? Drew Brees, Hall of Fame quarterback. It's broken every single record, but look past the quarterback, and look at the detail at which they play: offense, defense, special teams, the organization of it all, the standard at which they play, the effort, the tenacity, the violence, just all of it. It's impressive, and he's been there for a very long time. He's obviously got a great handle on game management and obviously play calling and how he wants it to look day in and day out. And he's obviously, again, he's one of the best this league's had, and it's even showing this year. And I know they're in the midst of a losing streak, but their standard and their style of play that's been there forever is still very, very much on tape, and they're a definite problem and a tremendous challenge.
Coach, we appreciate your time as always.
Always, thank you so much.
Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh is brought to you by Pepsi, the official soft drink of the New York Jets. Up next, we'll go inside the film room with Brian Baldinger, and Ethan Greenberg will preview Week 14 in the AFC East. Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh is brought to you by FanDuel.
Welcome back. Eric Allen with Bart Scott, Leger Douzable. Bart, are you a fan of Aretha Franklin?
Come on, man. Respect, man. Come on, you playing with me, man?
Let's talk about some respect.
Did you go see the movie? She is a gem. She is a jewel, not only for Detroit, where she was born, my hometown, but for the world. I mean, what a beacon of light. What a beacon of light.
Was C.J. Mosley singing the Motown blues, though, when he was talking about other teams not respecting the Jets?
Of course, but respect is earned as well, right? You have to earn it, and you get their respect by what you put on film and also what you do when you face your opponents. And you got to take it. In this league, it's not given. It's earned and it's taken. And you got to take it violently, right? It's a hostile takeover, and they have to step up, right? If they don't want people to be smiling and laughing in their face, and they got to smack it off their face. That's just how the game is played. That's how it's always been played, and the Jets should take that personal.
I can't tell if he's got the frown on today or the smile because he's bringing both, but how do the Jets change this narrative?
Well, what Bart is talking about is a mentality, right? It's an attitude and mentality, and you got to have that. Like you said, respect is earned in this league. Like nobody's just going to respect you just because of who you are. You have to go out in that field and earn it. And the thing is, how about, stop letting teams run the ball at will on you? How about you play smarter on defense, second and long? How many times are you going to allow teams to screen on you? So, it's a mentality, right? So teams aren't going to disrespect you just because of who you are. You have to go earn it on the field, and that starts with the mentality in the locker room. And the thing is, EA, only the people in that locker room can change that mentality. Nobody's going to come in to save you now. But if you want to earn respect the last 5 games of the season, it's your right to go out there and earn it on the field.
The most intimidating thing is when people run to the ball, and when you freeze the shot and the ball carrier's going down, if you got all 11 people in a close proximity, that's scary. Because saying, okay, if he missed, then he gonna get you. If he missed, then he gonna get you. And you shoot your shot. I'm talking about you don't swing for a base hit. You swing Sammy Sosa. You swing for the knockout. You start, knock some people like that. I'm not saying hurt them, injure them. I'm talking about knock them out, make them limp up there. It's cold right now. Them pads are stiff. You start laying them body blows on people. People stop laughing real quick. Hey man, I don't know who lit this fire, man, but they need to chill out because I had to deal with the consequences.
Leger, were you a Sosa guy or a Mark McGuire guy?
Of course, Sammy, man. Sammy, man.
But would you echo those sentiments of what Bart just said?
Yeah, we could talk about the attitude and everything, but it's also the mental part of the game with this young team. Just understanding, concepts and understanding where your leverage is and how to work that and being on a court and just communicating with one another.
From football 101 to football 501, here is Brian Baldinger.
Hey, thanks, EA. I really want to take a look at the Saints defense. One of the things that they're great at is stopping the run and how they do it.
The Jets will see one of the best run defenses in all of football. In fact, the Saints give up the fewest yards per rush in the league. And watch Malcolm Jenkins, number 27. Their safeties are nosy. They're always around the football. Malcolm Jenkins, number 27, is a great tackler. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, P.J. Williams, they're excellent tacklers at the line of scrimmage. Now, when you watch it, Demario Davis is a guy that they protect. Quan Alexander, they're inside linebackers. Pete Warner, number 20, when he's on the field, they're excellent at being protected and making tackles. And there's Malcolm Jenkins there as well. They're excellent against the run. Now, in the passing game, they play a lot of man coverage, and they're led by Marshawn Lattimore at the top here. He loves man coverage. He's excellent at it. He's as good as there is in the league. Maybe it's Elijah Moore this week he's going to take. Well, he's going to take an elite player on the other side and try to shut him down. That's what he does best. But because they can play good man coverage, they're also an excellent blitzing team. And they'll play a lot of matchup zone behind it. They'll get P.J. Williams off the corner right here, but you can see it right here. Matchup zone, they take your options away. They force the quarterback to hold the ball, and then the rush gets home. And that's kind of what the Saints like to do defensively. They're very good at it. Whether Cam Jordan has COVID or not COVID, it doesn't matter. They're all taught to play the same way.
This is the AFC East Roundup.
taking a look around the AFC East, two of the NFL's hottest teams are on a bye this weekend, the Dolphins and the Patriots. Miami extended its winning streak to 5 games, as you can see here, beating the Giants by a final score of 20-9 in South Florida last Sunday. These 5 games, the Dolphins have a point differential of 116-55, and quarterback Tua Tagovailoa had another efficient performance, completing 73.2% of his passes for 244 yards and 2 touchdowns. Meanwhile, New England enters its bye week winners of 7 in a row. They not only lead the AFC East, they would also be the conference's #1 seed at 9-4 if the season ended today. The Patriots took down the Bills on Monday Night Football in Orchard Park. Mac Jones threw just 3 passes, and the offense ran for 222 yards in their 14-10 win. And sticking with the Bills, they're traveling out of the cold, and they head to the home of the defending Super Bowl champions to play the Bucs. Buffalo's coming off a game which had totaled 230 yards of offense against the Pats, but you have to take it with a grain of salt considering the conditions in Orchard Park that featured 27 to 35 mile-an-hour winds and wind gusts north of 50 miles per hour. Tom Brady, on the other hand, continues to stay hot, throwing for 368 yards and 4 touchdowns in a 30-17 win over the Falcons. Brady's beaten the Bills more than any team in the NFL, owning a 32-3 record against Buffalo. And also at 1 p.m., the Jets take on the Saints, who are coming off extended rest. New Orleans lost 27-17 to the Cowboys last Thursday night, with Taysom Hill under center for the first time this season, and he threw for 264 yards and 2 touchdowns. He did throw 4 interceptions, and he also had 101 yards on the ground. Also, the Saints enter this game on a 5-game losing skid, while the Jets, on the other hand, are looking for their 3rd home win this season. So how will both the Bills and the Jets rebound in Week 14? Kickoff is around the corner.
Don't go away. We're back with final thoughts on the matchup with New Orleans after this. Jets Game Day with Robert Saleh is brought to you by MetLife.
Welcome back. Eric Allen with Bart Scott and Jay Duzable. It is Jets Saints today at MetLife Stadium. Bart, the Saints, unfamiliar territory.
Yeah.
5-game losing streak, and this team has been crippled by injuries.
Yeah, let's make it 6, right? You talk about Taysom Hill. He's a turnover machine, but he is a guy that's going to get physical. He's a part of that run game. Last week, over 101 yards. But listen, if it's going to be cold, the ball changes, the ball gets slippery. You got to be able to attack that ball, be able to attack his hands, punch the ball out, turnovers, short fields. That's got to be the key. You got to get multiple possessions, for your offense. Put them on the short field, set them up. It's time for you to start doing the little things defensively to try and steal possessions and be able to set your team up.
Leger, the Saints have not been the same team since Jameis Winston went down.
Not at all. They started off with Trevor Siemian starting in quarterback, and then, Taysom Hill got that big extension. So I guess Sean Payton felt like he had to put him in at the quarterback position. But this is going to be a muddied up game, right? They're going to run the football effectively. They, had some success last week running the quarterback counter, quarterback power. So, the Jets thought they were going to see that last week versus Jalen Hurts. So they're kind of prepared for that this week. It's going to come down to, can the Jets defense be physical and stop this run game? And more specifically, the quarterback run game, because Sean Payton's probably going to take the game out of Taysom Hill's hands.
What is Zach Wilson going to be facing in that Saints defense? Because, they might be on a 5-game losing streak, but you watch the Saints defensively. Every week they bring it. Yeah. Your former protege, Demario Davis, still one of the NFL's top linebackers, and Marshawn Lattimore there at the cornerback position.
Well, what you can expect is they're going to try and confuse the offensive line, but also Zach Wilson. They're going to put him in distress, right? They're going to make him have to make quick decisions, and he better have a plan for it, because it's not going to be a mini escape lane. So you better stay in the eye of the hurricane, make sure that you have a plan how to throw the ball and be able to get away, because they don't really do with these cover 5 type of add-in blitzes. They go all out, all gap, full up, cover 0 type blitzes and force you to make a decision and hope that they can force you into a bad one. Marshawn Lattimore struggled this year, but he's played better in the previous weeks. And, that's a guy that can erase your best receiver, which means that all hands are going to have to be on deck. You're going to have to get creative with it.
You guys he just mentioned Hurricanes. You fans of Hurricanes, beignets, jambalaya?
I don't like nothing from New Orleans. I don't like nothing French, no French cuisine. I eat American.
Shrimp po' boys, man. Gotta have a good shrimp po' boy.
Who dat going to beat the Saints? Is it going to be the Jets this afternoon? We'll see you for Jets Overtime on all our digital platforms following the game.